I'm Emma and welcome to the video. Today we are starting here on the Godforge Discord because as some of you might have seen already, we have a new creative contest. So this says, it's time for a Valentine's card creation contest. Create a Godforge inspired Valentine's Day card with your favorite heroes. What story do you want to tell? Is love in the air? You can paint, draw, use Photoshop, AI, etc. Imaginative and funny entries welcome. So we're going to enter this contest and we're going to make a video out of it, and we're going to try and make this a little bit different and a bit fun and exciting. So what I've done to keep this a little bit interesting is I've created this picker wheel that has all the legendary heroes in Godforge. We're going to spin this wheel twice to get our starring heroes. The first one will be Susu. Okay, I'm actually quite happy with that. I think he's quite fun. He'll be quite fun to draw. He's a cutie. He will look, I think I can make him look quite cute and funny in a bit more of like a cartoony style. And all right, the second hero that will star in this Valentine's Day card will be Horus. Okay, so we got a little bit of like a kind of furry romance going on here. The second wheel is going to give us our inspiration for the Valentine's Day card. So each of these numbers relates to kind of like a famous love or couple scene from a movie. So let's see what we get here. Oh, that's a close call. 5. Okay. So 5 is Titanic. Okay, that's quite classic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these two characters, Pazuzu and Horus, and this inspiration from Titanic, and I'm going to go away and draw this up on my iPad, and then I'll come back and share the screen recording with you and talk through what I did. Hello! It's now the next day, and I spent most of last night working on my Valentine's Day card. Let's just roll the footage, and I'll try and make some comments along the way, but the time lapse is quite quick, so I might have to pause every once in a while if there's anything in particular that I want to say. So yeah, the first thing I tend to do is just get my reference in and then copy the kind of main post. So you see I got the post down here, and then I'm starting on the faces. So what I tend to do when I draw faces is I do one pass where I'm looking closely at the reference. So first pass of Pazuzu's face here, just kind of looking at the reference but trying to do it in my own way. But then as you see in the next step here, I move it away. At this point I probably would have been zoomed in on the face, not looking at the reference at all. And I just try to like simplify things down and put my own spin on it, exaggerate some features, and just make it a little bit more, you know, my own. So yeah, second pass of the face. Pazuzu was really easy to draw. And then Horus, you can't really see it in the time lapse because it's so quick. It doesn't really show like the hesitation. It just shows like the strokes essentially. But yeah, this took ages. But in the end, I was quite happy with how his face came out. I think, you know, at this point, I managed to get quite a good facial expression on him. He looks a little bit kind of creepy, but in like a kind of hungry way. You'll see in the next step when I put it all together. Yeah. It's quite funny with Pazuzu, especially because he's so, you know, hunched over. I couldn't really get hang on, let me pause for a second. If you look at the original picture of from Titanic, forgot their names now, but it's Rose and Jack, right? Yeah, Rose and Jack. In this picture, they have their faces like really close together, and it's quite like tender and romantic. But the kind of spin that this ended up having is because Pazuzu is so hunched over and Horus is, you know, ends up kind of towering over him. It's almost, you know, you almost get a little bit of like a slightly creepy, don't want to say predatory, but yeah, he's kind of looking over him with this, you know, kind of smoldering look on his face. Quite like it. It's quite funny. next steps here is just like very roughly. That's another thing as well that you can see. I'm like a very messy sketcher. Like my first sketches are always just like absolute scribbles. And then I tend to do like a few passes of cleanup. This one I kind of went straight into line work from this. When I was doing this, I just got home from a week-long ski trip in the French Alps, and I was so broken and just in pain from a week of physical activity. I used to snowboard loads. I used to live in the French Alps in the winters, and I could just do it almost every day. And now, you know, nearing my mid-30s, it is hitting me like a truck. So when I was doing this, I just really didn't want to sit on my desk, which is why I did it on the iPad. But if I do any more kind of art videos in the future, I'll probably like screen record and film myself doing it rather than talk about it afterwards. Because I think that's a little bit more natural and it's a little bit easier to show what I'm doing. But for this one, this kind of works. Let me have a sip of tea. Almost getting done with the... Oh yeah, I also realised kind of quite a bit into this that Pursuit has wings. I forgot about the wings to begin with. And it is a little bit of a shame because the wings do cover some of the details that I initially sketched out on Horace's body. But I tried to make the wings kind of follow the same kind of shape as Rose's scarf. So, I mean, I guess it adds a little bit to like the silhouette that we have in the original image. This shoulder plate thing was like a nightmare. It really doesn't show in this time lapse how long some things actually takes. But yeah, I always love when I'm watching back these time lapses. Like when you get to color, it's just so satisfying to watch. I really just like to see, or love to see how everything like comes to life quite quickly. And this step as well, when you start adding like highlights and shadows. I'm keeping this quite simple and like cartoony because I don't want to spend too long on this one. This bit here is quite late last night. I started to get very tired, and I just started like changing the backgrounds to make it look more romantic and drawing tiny hearts. And there's a bit coming up here where I just started trying to make a signature out of my YouTube name. Yeah, that's when I was running out of steam. And then I kind of came back to it this morning and added the last bits of shading. And here's the final result. I hope you have liked this video. Thanks for watching to the end. I know it's a little bit different than your like typical kind of gaming content, but I do kind of hope to do a few more videos like this, kind of art-based videos. I have a few other things planned. So let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of my Valentine's Day card. And let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this.